Hey, Algebra 2. For this lesson, we're talking about polynomials. We're going to be adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing polynomials. First, we need to talk about the degree of a polynomial. Polynomial just means one or more terms. A polynomial, the degree, has to do with the number of exponents, okay? Number of exponents. So if I asked you, what's the degree of this polynomial, 3x squared minus 9x plus 11. And I say, what's the degree? Big old question mark. So we have three different terms. Find the one with the most amount of exponents. So we have two exponents here. So your answer is 2. It's the second degree polynomial. Okay? Now if I give you another term, where it's just negative 2a squared b c to the third. And I say, what's the degree of this polynomial? This is all technically one term. So we're going to add all the exponents. We have 2, we have invisible 1, and 3. So this is a 6th degree polynomial. Okay? It's a 6th degree polynomial. And lastly, if I were to give you two separate terms though, say x to the third, y to the fourth, minus x squared, y to the third, what degree polynomial is this? Again, add the exponents. There's 7 here and 5 here. So you go with the one that's bigger. So in this case, this would be a 7th degree polynomial. Again, add the exponents of each term. So this is one term, this is another. So 3 plus 4 is 7, 2 plus 3 is 5, so we go with the bigger number. Okay? So that's how you find the degree of a polynomial. Now let's talk about combining like terms here. So we're going to subtract some polynomials here. We have 5a squared b, okay, minus 2ab, plus b to the second, minus 7ab, minus 8a squared b, plus 2b squared, minus 6. Okay? So when you get a problem like this, okay, so we have a minus in between. So what you're going to do is you're going to distribute that negative to each term. So this becomes 5a squared b. So this stays the same. But on this side, everything switches. So you have 7ab plus negative times negative. Watch your positive and negatives. Negative times positive is a negative 2b squared. And lastly, negative times negative is a positive 6. So now what we do is we can only combine things that have the same exact variables with the same exact exponents. So here I see an a squared b and here an a squared b. So I can add those. 5 plus 8 is 13 a squared b. I see ab both to the first power, ab both to the first power. Negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9 ab. When you're adding and subtracting the terms, don't change exponents. When you add and subtract like terms, you don't change exponents. And lastly, we have b squared minus 2b squared. So 1 minus 2 is negative b squared. And that plus 6 doesn't combine with anything, so we just bring it down. So this would be our final answer. Again, biggest thing to remember is that when you add and subtract like terms, okay, you do not change the exponents. Notice this was a squared b, it's still a squared b. Okay? So that's what you do when you're adding and subtracting. Now comes the multiplying. Okay? If I give you two parentheses here, 3x plus 2, and this is 2x minus 5. By the way, just so you know, this right here, since there's two terms, this is called a binomial. Okay? If I give you 3x squared plus 2x minus 7, three terms, this is called a trinomial. Just so you know, when you see the word binomial, you know what it's talking about. Just so here we have two binomials. This has two terms, this has two terms. Okay. Anyways, that was a side note. The directions here, we need to simplify. So we're going to multiply here. We're going to do something that I'm sure you've learned before, but we're still going to do it again. It's called the FOIL method. FOIL method, okay, which is first, outer, inner, last. Okay, so we're going to take the first terms of both parentheses and we're going to multiply it. It's all multiplying. 3x times 2x gives us 6x squared. Because remember, 3 times 2 is 6. X to the first times x to the first. We add the exponents, it becomes x to the second. Outer, so the outer of the two parentheses, 3x times a negative 5 gives us a negative 15x. Notice there's no x here, so it just stays x to the first. The inner of the two parentheses, so 2 times 2x is a positive 4x. And the last position of the two parentheses, 2 times negative 5 makes a negative 10. Now, you always want to look to see if you have like terms. So I see here a negative 15x plus 4x. So our final answer is going to be negative 6x squared minus 11x minus 10. Again, like terms, you can add those together. Negative 15 plus 4. This has an x squared, so you can't add it to those. Okay? So this is your final answer right here. Alright, so let's just do a couple more of those so you get the hang of this, and then we'll be done. Okay, still going to stick with the FOIL method. We have a minus 2b times 4a minus 7b. Okay? So again, first, outer, inner, last. First, we have a times 4a. 1 times 4 is 4. A times a is a squared. Outer, now they have two variables. That's okay. Just put them in alphabetical order. So we have a times negative 7b. So it's negative 7ab. You're allowed to multiply terms with different variables. You're just not allowed to add and subtract them. Here we have negative 2b times positive 4a. So that gives us negative 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 8. And then we have ab. And lastly, negative times negative is a positive. 2 times 7 is 14. B times b is b squared. Again, when we're done, we look for any like terms. I see here negative 7ab, negative 8ab. So our final answer is 4a squared minus 15ab plus 14b squared. And notice I did not change the exponents when I added those together. Okay, when you add together, don't change the exponents. So let's do one more. This one actually, you do not do the FOIL method for this one because I'm going to add a third term into here, into the second parentheses. So now it becomes a trinomial. 4x plus 5y minus 3. So now when you have a problem like this, you're going to want to distribute both terms from the first parentheses. So I'm going to distribute here. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. Distribute here. 2 times 5 is 10. Then we have xy. 2x times negative 3 gives us a negative 6x. Now we're done with the 2x. Now we're going to deal with the negative 3y. So negative 3y times 4x is negative 12xy. Negative 3y times positive 5y is negative 15y squared. Because again, y times y is y squared. And then negative 3y times negative 3 is a positive 9y. So it turns out we only have one set of like terms. That's okay. So our final answer is 8x squared. 10xy minus 12xy is negative 2xy. Minus 6x minus 15y squared plus 9y. And this is our final answer. Again, not only can you not combine unlike terms, but they also have to have the same exponent. Notice I didn't combine the 8x squared with the negative 6x or the negative 15y squared with the 9y because they have different exponents. When you add and subtract, they have to have all the same variables and exponents. Well, that is how you do this lesson when we're dealing with polynomials. Add, subtract, and multiplying. We'll get to dividing later. But anyways, I hope that you understood that. And good luck.